You didn't want to hear the rest of my story about.
Did you have anything else to say? I wasn't really paying attention anyway.
Yeah,
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I started to feel that.
So I found Blab and started a Twitter account, and here I am 2 years later with Professor Nez making all these nice comments about me. So anyway. Your show and have that creative outlet while you're doing other kinds of work or whatever you're doing, right? So I was just impressed by the conversation and how good some of the people were and the community that was building. And so a few days later, I started a Twitter account at Livestream Uni, which is still going. My primary Twitter account is iRossBrand, and you can be sure that if you follow me and you're watching right now, I will definitely follow you back.
Brand? Why iRossBrand?
Because Ross Brand was taken, and so
okay.
it was like iPod or iPhone.
I thought maybe you were Rastafarian or something.
No. It's because of all the times that I've been in court, and I had to say Ross Brand. So
if there's any attorneys out there,
it became part of my name. Like iRossBrand.
Talk about branding yourself, literally.
So yeah, and of course at that time that account's older, right? So when I had done that account, of course, and then I started an Instagram account, I thought, well, maybe I don't want that I thing there. I didn't think like, okay, consistency's good, right? I would learn that over time. So I was like, yeah, let's do Ross Brand 1. So now I had, whatever. So if you want to follow me on Instagram, you can do that at Ross Brand 1, and I'll be happy to follow you back if you're somebody watching
I actually think it's really interesting, and I just want to really quickly, Ross, I want to say hello to Melissa Reyes is in the house. Jordan Thomas, good to see you. Gord Eisman, it's great to see you. Tony, we've got a lot of people. Hey, guys, as the great Alex Kahn says, sharing is caring. If you wouldn't mind sharing this out. What I would like to talk about, Ross, if you'd let me, if you'd allow me, so I truly believe, and I can't wait to hear Ross's thoughts on this.
You didn't want to hear the rest of my story about.
Did you have anything else to say? I wasn't really paying attention anyway.
Yeah,
I'm kidding. I started to feel that.
So I found Blab and started a Twitter account, and here I am 2 years later with Professor Nez making all these nice comments about me. So anyway, long story short,
and fuzzy, and then I end up with a knee to your groin. You see that?
Yeah. But, so frankly, I don't really like doing the whole bio thing. So I'm happy to move on to something else. But I'm not, going to miss an opportunity to make fun of you.
Done.
No, I'm not going to miss an opportunity to make fun of you for jumping away from a question you asked me.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I don't really want to answer the question.
I am a professional broadcaster. Can't you tell? No. Okay. So, I mean, and I apologize. Please.
So Livestream Stars did a lot of interviews, did updates and stuff like that. Now I'm still doing Livestream Stars, mostly Mondays and Thursdays, 7 p.m. Eastern, but you can also find me doing Best to Be Live with Rachel Moore, where we highlight some of the best shows that are on Be Live TV. Could be your show if you use the platform. And I'm also doing once a month live stream deals, where it's just a fast-paced show. I bring on 4 guests and talk about their products. They're usually live streamers with products aimed towards the live stream market. And we have giveaways and special offers and things like that. So that's kind of what I'm doing right now. Also, as part of the Never Settle show, I did the Red Carpet pre-show. And last night or the night before, it won Best Live Show at the International Academy of Web Television Awards. So
I saw that.
Big congratulations to Mario Armstrong, Nicole Hunter, and their entire team, the Roker Media folks, who really made all that happen. And I got a chance to be there for all 6 of the shows and see what an amazing, not only show that they put together, but an event around it like you wouldn't see in television. And so really is a groundbreaking show, and I hope they're able to make whatever they want happen for season 2 and they come back and do more of what they do, because I really love what they're doing with that show.
That's really awesome, Ross. I mean, you can see how prolific Ross is. Another reason why he is the mayor of live streaming. I love your hustle. I love that you are doing something that you love, and I think that's the only reason why you're doing it so well is because I joke with my students all the time, Ross. There's a reason why I am not a botanist, okay? There's a reason why I don't talk about horticulture. Right.
Right.
The reason why that I don't, I'm not, pitching for the Yankees. Right. There's a really good reason for that. So it's because this discovery, this beautiful technology now that we have. And I love how you mentioned you came from the radio background and you came from a broadcasting background into kind of spilled into Blab. And now it's really evolved into this beautiful thing. I just think that this is such a fascinating, beautiful, really highly adaptable technology where anything that you have to say, anything that you have to offer, whether it's teaching, right? And you were talking about consulting and running a business on another podcast, Owen's podcast, which I love that show. I thought you were dropping serious value.
Oh, thank you.
This is sort of taking on a life of its own. It's just growing and growing and growing. And you're really spearheading a lot of cool things. By the way, let me ask you really quickly, Ross.
Sure.
When is season 2 of the Never Settle show? Because correct me if I'm wrong, this is the first show that has the first Facebook Live show or predominantly live stream show that has a live studio audience, correct?
Yeah, with a live studio audience and professional cameras and crew and the whole thing. I mean, it's like a TV show, but then it's streamed to Facebook Live with all the engagement and interaction that we love from live streaming, the chat, social media, all that going on. And he also works in the audience that's there, live band, all that good stuff. I don't know what the plan is. I've heard that it may be around the corner, but they're keeping tight-lipped on when it's what's coming next, as far as
really?
at least as far as I know.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to keep an eye and an ear open for that because I love the stuff you were doing on the red carpet and the interviews and the other live streams you were doing. I thought it was fascinating. So guys, I want to kind of sort of frame this show because as much as I love joking and bantering and back and forth with Ross, and we're going to do more of that. I mean, it's impossible.
Oh, good. Because I thought you were about to say it's not going to be fun anymore.
Hey guys, cue the this is where the fun ends. No, I'm kidding. But this is interesting because there is, if you're at all, I think there's a lot of people in the audience right now, people maybe watching on the replay who are interested in seeing these two guys who are actually, producing a Facebook Live broadcast, getting their points, getting their personalities, getting their purpose across to an audience. And they're wondering to themselves, how can I, effectively do this myself? Is this possible for me? I get questions like this and emails like this all the time, Ross. I'm sure you do too. I'm sure you get a lot of requests or a lot of questions and people asking you and emailing you saying, hey, how do you do this? Or how do you do that? As a matter of fact, that's actually how Ross and I first met. I asked him about his microphone. That was one of the very first questions. And again, he may be embarrassed by this, but as much of he was such a sweetheart. I came out of nowhere. He didn't know who I was. This was about a year and a half ago. Such a sweetheart. Not only did he answer me, but he shared links. He sent me all this info. He sent me all these websites. This is exactly where I got it. And I know a lot of people in the audience are wondering the same thing. Is this as complicated as it looks? Is this something that I can do myself? Well, I'll tell you something. What we wanted to kind of talk about today on the show was there is this unbelievable conference. A lot of you guys watching, and this is not a sponsored, just a disclaimer, this is not a sponsored broadcast. We're just really excited to go see each other. I mean, really, that's my reason for going to the conference. I think you're going to learn a lot. And we're talking about Vid Summit. I see Ross has already put
if you want to pin that, exactly.
I'm going to pin that. I just did.
And just to be clear, as Professor said, this is not an affiliate code, but Darrell Eves, who runs Vid Summit, was on my show last night. And he surprised me, and he's like, hey, if you want, I can give you a code for $200 off for your viewers. And so I thought, let's use that tonight. I know there are a lot of people here who are passionate about live video and YouTube and stuff like that. So if you would like to go, there's a couple of different ticket options available. That link that's in there will take you there, and then you just enter my name without a space, Ross brand, and you can get $200 off. Vid Summit, if you can't go, there is a live stream and video package. I believe it's cheaper if you get it before the conference. Use that. You can use that link as well. We'll take you there. That I do get a little commission on.
Melissa,
So full disclosure, I do get a little if you do the live stream package. But I would say, you know, if you can go in person, because I've heard that it's just amazing networking. And if you want to get into it, Professor, the reason why I chose this conference is because I think it's different than just about every other conference out there.
Exactly. Talk about that a little bit.
I live in New Jersey,
right?
And just about it seems like every live streaming, video, broadcast, and podcasting conference takes place from Las Vegas to LA to Anaheim, maybe a couple of things in San Francisco. Or San Diego. So obviously I have to pick and choose, you know, I can't fly out for everything, right? So I went to Summit Live because I was speaking there. And then, you know, I probably wasn't going to go to anything else this year, go out one time for an event. And, you know, our friend Todd Bergen, Todd.live, told me about it. And he's told me about other conferences, and I've looked into them. I've looked into flights and all that stuff. And I've just gone, you know, no, it's too expensive. I can't take the time off from work. But when I looked at the agenda of this conference and who was going to be there and how it was being pitched, and the fact that it's close to LAX, so I can get there from the airport easily. The hotel wasn't super expensive. I got a decent price on the flight. And I was just like, I got to do this one. Yeah. If I do one conference other than Summit Live that I go out west for, this is the one to go to. And
plus,
the reason
Professor Nez is only an hour away. Hello.
That's the thing. I mean,
out there.
You know, I factored that in, and then I decided to go anyway. I just wasn't going to tell you about it, but somehow you watched my show, you found out, and here we are. And so now I'm going to have this guy pestering me for 2 days.
Hey guys, can't you tell that we're extremely close?
Yeah. So the good professor is hopefully you're going to go. You're going to be there without a doubt.
I will be there some way, somehow. Professor Nez. No, I'm kidding. I'm going to be there. And if I may, let me just jump in here, Ross, for a second. I want to say, it looks like Melissa already got her ticket. She used the code. Fantastic, Melissa. And again, I want to really reiterate this. This is not an affiliate, full disclosure. This is not a sponsored broadcast, anything like that. I am really excited about going for one major reason. Okay, there's a bunch of reasons to go, and there's a lot of value at this conference. And I've heard from a lot of video creators. If you're a broadcaster, if you're a live streamer, if you're a video creator, I truly believe that video is the predominant form of communication in the 21st century. It doesn't have to be necessarily for a business, but I mean, I think it's already kind of there, but if it's not already there, it will replace texting. It will replace emails. It will replace definitely.
That's right.
I mean, I don't know anybody who calls anybody anymore, really, but you know,
you have to text first. Like, can I call you?
Yeah, exactly. Are you available? Yeah. Are you available? So,
it's funny because we can text people at like 4 a.m. and email them like, I need something for work any hour of the day. But to call your best friend now, you have to text them first at like 2 in the afternoon, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like worse. You can show up unannounced before you actually would dare call someone. You know, Barb Tomlin mentions in the chat that she got the virtual ticket, and she said it's the right lineup and context, and that really is a wonderful way to put it, because when she's talking about the lineup and context, it's people who are coming there to share their knowledge and share what's made them successful using video. And then when you talk about the context, it's not about pushing products and taking selfies, although we'll have some fun taking selfies and doing some live stuff.
Oh,
and I'm going to do some interviews.
I'm going to give Ross a big bear hug. He's going to be like, "Who's this weirdo coming up to me?" I might just tackle.
See,
Ross
this is why I tried not to let you know that I was going. And then the
Ross,
other.
Have you ever been tackled by a very large man?
Yeah, when I was a freshman in college, we were playing football outside my dorm, and the first play goes off, and I'm like running back to cover somebody. I intercept the pass, forget that I'm like playing with no pads, nothing, and some guy comes at me, and I'm like, I'm going to leap over him because I saw somebody on TV do that. somebody hit me so hard I fumbled the ball all the way back downfield to the quarterback. And that was when I said, you know what? I think I'll stick to doing something other than playing football because, you know, the world isn't like going to lose its next great, you know, left tackle or something.
That's what I'm going to do. Hey, Nez Nation, you heard it here first. You heard it here first. Ross Brand will be tackled at Vid Summit. If that's not reason to come at all, I don't know what is. But no,
I'm going to have bodyguards, I guess.
Yes, you will.
Yes.
You will. You definitely need protection from Professor Nez.
Yeah, just don't break the gear. Just don't break the gear.
Yeah, I mean, here's what I want to say, and I'd love your thoughts on this, Ross.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to get, I think, unbelievable information and unbelievable info on – wait, isn't information and info the same thing? It's the same thing.
It is.
You're going to get amazing –
Do you know that info is in the dictionary?
Is it really? INFO?
Well, it doesn't. It never comes up like in your spell check as wrong. I thought it was like a slang shorthand or an informal shorthand or whatever. But
well, it's a contracted version of information, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's the first 4 letters, right?
Well, yeah.
INFO. So it wouldn't really be a contraction.
So,
but I'm just saying, like, I didn't know that it was actually considered a word.
Info.
I kept looking at like, aren't you going to tell me that this is wrong, and then suggest typing out information?
And you know why? You know why it doesn't do that? I tell my students this all the time, Ross, because Microsoft Word is not written by writers; it's written by computer programmers. It's written by software programmers. They don't know anything about grammar. They don't know anything about grammar.
Yeah, but you'd think that they programmed it with a dictionary, right? They're not aware of every word under the sun.
Don't trust, ladies and gentlemen, do not trust those correcting any of them. Microsoft Word, Pages, they all are not 100% accurate, trust me.
So back to Vid Summit and information.
Wait,
I'm there for the information.
You cut me off this time. Ladies and gentlemen, you're witnessing the dissipation of a friendship before it's even begun. No, but on a serious,
the floor is yours.
This is what I wanted to say. This is what, and then I'm all about you, Ross. This is what I wanted to say.
I am too. All about me.
And I think Todd.Live coined this phrase. I know that there's going to be amazing speeches. I know that they're going to be presenting unbelievable information that's going to help me with my video creating strategy and my live streaming. But I truly am going, really, beyond that, to meet people like Ross Brand in person who I've never met in person, to meet Todd live, who I've only had lunch with once. Gord Eisman's in there. Melissa's going. Melissa, you're going, right? Melissa's going. I mean, to me, and this is, I quote, I'm going to give credit to Todd.Live. He said, the value is in the hallway. When it comes to conferences, the value is in the hallway. I always love that phrase. I always said he should make a T-shirt or something, or at least a sort of Instagram quote or something, right? And I think, isn't that the true essence? Ross, I'd like your thoughts on this. Isn't that the true essence of social media, right? Isn't it about the community? Isn't it about the people? Isn't it about, making those relationships and really finding like-minded individuals that you can feed off of and you be inspired by and you can tackle?
Yeah. Okay. So leaving the violent stuff out, right?
Yes.
Because we want to be professional while we're there. And,
yes.
No, I absolutely. And it's not just the networking in terms of, oh, it's great to see friends, or, oh, I might meet somebody who will present me with a business opportunity. There's a lot of the people who are giving speeches who are really experts at this stuff, who will then in the hall go on and give you a little extra if you're having an informal chat with them. Yeah. They may talk to you a little bit and say, what's your channel about? What's this going on? And go, okay, if you thought about doing this, because Darren Leaves was telling me, and I said, oh, you mean the guy went and watched the speech? He's like, no. He went to the speech, but then out in an informal conversation with the speaker afterwards, he got some extra information, and he took his channel from, 2 views to 200 million views or whatever it was, right? But there's a lot of great stories like coming out of Vid Summit about people who really had kind of explosive growth of their, YouTube channel. And I know you're doing pretty well with your YouTube channel, and I don't know if you want to give us a little preview of some of what you're doing and some of the tips that you've learned from these folks. I mean, obviously, we're going to take an even deeper dive, over the next several days. But what are some of the things that you've learned that you're doing?
Yeah, and thank you for that beautiful red carpet you just rolled out there, Ross. I appreciate that. Keep your hands to yourself. Autographs will be done later. No, but I mean, thank you. And absolutely, it's unbelievable that I think most people, and I'd love to hear in the comments below, leave in the comments below how you really function in the context of YouTube. And I think that, you were on Nick and Owen's podcast recently in live stream. They do a live stream and a podcast at the same time. Hey, Jay Garrett's in the house. Good to see you, Jay. And these guys, they produced hundreds, if not thousands, of pieces of content, video, short form, long form, live streams, pre-edited, all about how to grow your channel. And they've created an unbelievable platform for themselves on this. And I don't think a lot of people understand there's such a nuance and an art and a science to all of these platforms. That if you were like me 6 months ago, and Gord, if you're still in there, Gord's been an instrumental help. Gord has an unbelievable channel that is dedicated to video creators, video creation, editing, and what have you. I was just one of these guys who just said, well, I'll just upload it. I'll just
right.
I mean, hey, it's kind of cool. It's a place that exists. I don't have
upload
to
and forget about it. And then people will find it just by itself. And you never even have to go back to the channel or.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. You don't even have to. It's like, okay, it'll just.
Don't tag it. No description. Just upload videos to YouTube.
Go eat some pizza.
Anytime you want. 10 at a time, just batch upload, and then go do something else and forget about them.
Ross.
And 6 months later, you come back, and all of a sudden, you've got all this money that you've made on YouTube. That is how it works, right?
Yeah, that's exactly how it works.
Okay, good. I wanted to make sure I was doing the right thing.
That's exactly how it works. That's exactly what I was going to say. Your bank account just overfloods with coins. But
right, and they come in as soon as you get that first view, like 3 months later, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You go back 7 months later, and you found out you have 6 views, and they're all from your aunt and your 7 cousins. So here's the thing that's interesting.
They were from the 6 times I checked to see if the video was still up.
Exactly. So I said, okay, I'm going to give this a shot because I believe in video. I believe in the power of video. I'm like, what the hell is keywords, and what is tags, and what is 5 things. Here's 5 things. Here's 5 things that I've done. And Gord, if you're still there, Gord's been instrumental in this too. And here's just really a couple of simple things. If you want to really revamp this and take this to the next level, I think you've got to go here. I want to just say right now, not a YouTube expert, but I love video creation. I obviously love live streaming. I've got my 2 live stream shows. I believe that video is the predominant form of communication in the 21st century. And so I decided to take the plunge and really dive deep, right? So, and Gord's been a great help. Number 1 is you have to understand that YouTube is a search engine, right? YouTube is owned by Google, okay? And Google is the #1 search engine on the planet. YouTube is the 2nd largest search engine on the planet. A lot of people don't know this.
And everybody who's looking for, may stumble across your video, obviously isn't searching NEZNATION, Professor Nez, Livestream Universe, Ross, whatever. They're
maybe
searching,
my aunt and my 6 cousins.
So if you're a celebrity, then you can just put it up with the title of your name and go away, and you will have a wildly popular channel in 6 months to a year or sooner, right? But for the rest of us,
that's exactly right. If you're Kim Kardashian, okay, if you're Kim, or even Casey Neistat, right?
Yeah, you don't need
to worry about any of these tips. Don't mean anything to you, right? A lot of these tips are completely moot, right? But if you're like the other 99% of the planet, right, you got to put in a little bit of strategy. And these are some really easy ones. And I think it's important to share this because I'm very passionate. Thank you, Melissa. You're right. I am gung-ho. I'm a volcano erupting for live streaming and video creation. I absolutely feel like, Ross is going to make fun of me for getting mushy for a second, but I feel like I found my purpose. I really do. I feel like this literally is my purpose. I'm having so much fun. I've told Ross this in private chat. I'll say it publicly. Even if I don't make a dime, even if I don't get one more subscriber or follower, I just have, it's good for my soul. Like, I have a real giddy time doing this.
I love it.
Talk to Ross. I could talk to Ross on here for literally, I mean, days on end, for hours and hours, and I wouldn't even notice the time passing.
You mean I'm going to have to miss game 3, game 4, game 5 too?
Yeah. We might have to ask the Yankees to maybe postpone their schedule for you guys.
I know that they're planning their schedule around what I'm doing at Vid Summit, right?
That's how much they think of their fans. What a great ball club. But anyway, so it's a search engine. So the first thing you got to do is you got to type in a keyword. Okay, if you have to think about what your video is about. Let's say, for example, Ross. If Ross is talking about how to use, live streaming for a coaching or consulting business, what you need to do is you need to go in that search engine tab. And I know Gord will back me up here. Yes, Sean is fantastic, Barb. Sean is a great, video, Think Media and video influencers. Yeah, Sean is a great one. So is Nick's channel is fantastic. I mean, he says all this stuff. I'm just kind of giving you something in short and small, and I'm blabbing way longer.
Yeah, how good is Nick? I just discovered him pretty recently, and it's like, well, his videos are really good. He knows what he's doing.
He is not only is he the real deal, but he's a mensch just like you, Ross.
Yeah, he's a really nice guy.
He's a real sweet dude, and he's gone out of his way to help me as well. And Tim's in the house. Tim's a YouTube creator, so Tim will love this. Tim Longwell, good to see you, Tim.
Hey, Tim.
When you type in the you don't want to put live stream universe with Ross Brand. You don't want to put that as the title, because your title is the keyword phrase that comes up on the search engine. And because Google owns YouTube, you get the best of both worlds. You can rank on YouTube and you can rank on Google. So you need to type in the search bar, type in how to leverage live streaming for business, see what comes up in the drop-down menu. This has a lot to do with KDP and Amazon search engine as well. And then the top couple of keywords, the top things that show up on the drop-down menu, that's what people are searching for. I never thought about this. This is really SEO 101, right? I never thought.
Now, do you not want to do what everybody's searching for, because that may be so populated with videos that, you know what I mean? Like, you're trying to find a middle spot, right?
Yeah. So here's the cool thing. I know people like Nick and Owen and others, maybe not Nick so much, but I know there's a lot of people who are going to be at Vid Summit sharing way more effective wisdom than I can share right now. Would say you don't want to compete. Like, if you search something and it comes up that there's 2 million, search results, and there's people who have this amazing following and they're ranking on the top page, because let's be honest, guys, if you're not on the top page, your video is not going to get any hits. You want to get ranked on that first page. I methat absolutely essential.
Well, the saying is that the best place to hide a dead body is on page 2 of Google search results, right?
Yeah. No, I never heard that before. I love that kind of. I'm going to put that on my epitaph.
So it's the same thing works for YouTube too, right?
Yes, the same thing works for YouTube.
Somebody has to scroll too far down, then they're probably not. They're stopping at something about that same topic before they get to you.
Yes. So, and Melissa asks a great question. What are you using for your titles, Peter? So, for example, I will actually think of a concept for a video, based around a keyword that I search for. So I'll search for keywords related to what I love to do. Ross knows I'm a writing professor, maybe not a very good one, because, we've talked about grammar before and it didn't really work out. I never said I was a good writing professor, but I am one.
Your grammar's fine. You just missed that the first 4 letters of information are INFO.
That's exactly right.
That's info. That's not a grammar mistake.
But being a
that's just a slip up. Your grammar is pretty strong.
Thank you for that.
I do read your stuff. I don't watch your shows, but I do read your posts.
That's my attorney, Ross Brand, folks. He's representing me. So here's really interesting. Melissa has a great question. So the titles that I use, I already search for the title. So how to use LinkedIn video. Ross knows I'm very heavy into LinkedIn. Being a LinkedIn consultant, I'm actually contracted from LinkedIn as being a consultant, right, for them. And I help people with their writing, with their resume writing, with their career advice and counseling and things of that nature, right? I'm a career coach as well. So I will search that keyword and then I'll build my video around the keyword that I want to rank for. And Ross is right. Here's the thing that I disagree with, because here's the thing. YouTube prescience, YouTube gives an advantage to a little tab that shows up next to your video, and it says new. That new tab, YouTube will push that through a lot faster. So I kind of have a reverse kind of strategy where I don't care how big the competition is.
As long as you're new at it, you're going to be at the top of the list.
Because I'm new, I'm going to get that extra push. And some of the people, that's another thing you want to look at. And this could go on forever. But anyway, that's another thing you want to look at is are the people you're competing with, what's the recentness or the recency of that publication? Like, have they published that video in the past 2 months, 2 days, 6 years, right? If you're competing with videos that haven't, they've been like 3-4 years out, you're in good shape, I think. I think you're in good shape, because the algorithm for YouTube, I think, favors new. Gord, Tim, you guys who have been doing this longer than I have, please back me up or say, Professor Nez, you're full of crap. It's not the first time. And then you got to get into your...
I'm just sitting here amazed that you used the word prescient.
Yes. I just looked it up this morning.
Is it the same as prescient, or is that just how it is?
Different. No, yes. Don't complicate matters, Ross. Don't complicate matters.
Prescient and prescient are different.
Prescient it's just a different way of it's like saying niche and niche. They're both the same thing.
Okay.
Just a different way of pronouncing it. If you're French, it's prescient. If you're English, it's prescient, right? So you just kind of enunciate it.
See, I read, but I don't necessarily use those words. So it's like if you get them in your head wrong long enough, then when you go to say them, they come out wrong. It's like, you read somebody's name and then they correct the pronunciation before they go on the show with you. But you've been saying it wrong in your head for so long that you're like, I hope it doesn't come out by instinct,
Yeah. Just stick to the kindergarten words, okay, Ross? Just be on the safe side.
Okay.
Gord says, if you're competing with older videos, it's much easier to rank, at least in the honeymoon period while your video is new. But long-term, it has to be good content. And that's,
how long is the honeymoon period, Gord?
That one. I had to take a phone call, catching up. Oh, look at Barb. Barb says, I want to say, Professor Nez, you're full of crap. You can say it. It happens every single day.
It feels good. Professor Nez, you're full of crap. Everybody together now.
It's nothing new.
All around the world.
I'll be the first one to agree with you.
2, 1. Professor Nez, you're full of crap.
But here's the thing. And I just shared with you one little tip. And Gord actually compounded that with a beautiful kind of caveat tip.
Right.
So here's the interesting thing. There's a science to this, folks. And if this bozo, and I'm pointing at me, not Ross, if this bozo can figure it out, I've gone from I've gone from 43 subscribers 6 months ago to now I'm at like 350 almost, or no, I'm sorry, 385. So I'm almost at 400 subscribers, and I'm growing steadily. Like I know the trajectory of my channel. By the end of the year, I could hit the 1,000 mark. I mean, that's how close I am. And once I hit the 1,000 mark, live streamers, Ross included, you
super chat.
Hey, by the way, Ross, why isn't Facebook monetizing live streams? I mean, they're all about.
I don't know.
Why don't they do like a super chat copycat or something, or Periscope? This whole like super hearts thing. Why don't they let live streamers make money with their content? What do you think is the reason behind that?
I don't know. Honestly, I have no idea what Facebook's thinking. I think they're busy trying to take over basically the entire internet. Yeah. Basically, Facebook wants it to one day be, instead of saying I'm going online or I'm going on the internet or I'm searching the web, I'm going to Facebook, right? Like internet is synonymous with, internet is basically synonymous with social media at this point almost, right? So they want to make it synonymous with Facebook to where they own everything from video to news to, I mean, it's really too much, right? But that's another discussion. But I think they've got, I don't know. I think they're trying to get there. I think they're trying to make it an enticing place for video as another option over YouTube first, to get creators to think, those people who aren't focused on live streaming primarily, their next challenge is to get those folks to start thinking about, I'm going to upload my video first to Facebook rather than my primary focus for people who are building their channel on YouTube with non live videos, right? With recorded videos.
Yeah.
Is all about YouTube and what works on YouTube and how you search on YouTube. And then secondarily, maybe they upload that video to a Facebook page or something like that. Facebook wants those folks to transition over to where Facebook is the focus of their strategy,
Right.
and the place that they're creating their content for, and they're thinking about optimizing their tags and their, their descriptions and all that for. And then, oh, by the way, they may throw it up on YouTube too. And that hasn't happened yet. And I think as that starts to happen, then there'll be a whole different layer of monetization. But right now, their thing is, to get you views, you spend to boost it, right? That's what they're trying to do.
Yeah. I mean,
that's the way
model,
they're monetizing it. They're not letting us monetize it, but that's how they're monetizing it.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. Barb's like, well, think of the investments in data centers. I love Barb. Barb always, you know who says Professor Nez is full of crap every day, and I love her to death? Is Barb Tomlin. You gotta love. Give it up for Barb Tomlin, ladies and gentlemen. It's so good to see you. Melissa says Facebook has watch. Yeah, I mean, Melissa's like, you just reminded me. I should be editing and posting a video. You mean you're not enticed to stay? Here's the interesting thing, and I want to talk about Facebook Watch too, but let's get back to really quickly, just to kind of, so
you're going through your tips for YouTube. I'm trying to learn something here.
Keywords are huge. If you have any SEO experience, okay, if you understand search engine optimization, Facebook is not a search engine, right? YouTube is. And you can have long life cycle with your content. Right. I mean, there is still some YouTube creators making thousands of dollars, if not more, off of content they created years ago, right? That's the beautiful thing. The longevity and posterity of your content is bar none, right? And obviously, maybe with Watch, or maybe, I know Facebook, Instagram, even LinkedIn added native video. I think the video wars have begun. And here's another reason why. I mean, I'm just so excited. I think this is the greatest era. And I love learning from people like Nick. I love learning from people like Gord, from Ross, and other amazing creators, because this is such an amazing time right now. We're at the precipice. So search engine is really, really important. And then you use the same title. I think this is it, and we'll just move on. It's really crucial. That same title that you optimize for keyword search, put that as the very first text in your description. That's a great way to rank easily, and then make that a keyword tag as well. So if the title is how to use LinkedIn video, right? Which is actually probably one of the titles of my video, how to use LinkedIn video. That's your title. That's the first line in your description, because that actually is optimized for keyword search, and that helps rank. And you don't
worry about the fact that there might be 3 other videos with that title.
Well, I've done a little bit of research on it, and Nick talks about this really, really well, a lot better than I do. That's a good point, actually, and maybe I didn't address that.
And I don't know the answer to that. I'm just asking.
No, here it is. Here it is. I'll give you the answer. So if somebody says how to use LinkedIn video, and that keyword is already taken, you could do just a slight variation. And actually, the drop-down menu will help you with this. You could say how to use LinkedIn video, 3 tips for beginners, right? So a little variation, and then I'll give you that extra sort of nudge. It's like really niching yourself, right? And positioning yourself in a great way to where you still have the original keyword, but you varied it up just a little bit, and you've offered this multifaceted keyword.
The keyword is LinkedIn, right?
No, the keyword is how to use LinkedIn video. That's the keyword phrase.
Okay, that's the whole phrase that you're making a tag out of. Yes. You're not just making it out of one word. You're tagging what they're saying.
LinkedIn is a keyword, but I mean, the keyword phrase is how you rank, because this is the point. You want to title your videos what people are actually searching.
Right.
How to be happy. Like, somebody's going to type that in Google. How to be happy. If your video is how to be happy, 10 tips, that video is going to show up on their search.
Right.
So it's the keyword phrase. So Ross, I've been, this is something that I think is so simple. It's a great way to start. Now, Nick and Owen don't do this anymore. A lot of the kind of micro influencers, if you want to call them that, or people with 10K subscribers and above. I mean, Nick's got well more than that. They don't kind of use, but for beginners, this is a great tactic. For people like me who grow their channel and just get ranked on the first page, It's totally basic, Curtis. Yeah, it's absolutely basic. Yeah, and Melissa says it's the same as blogging, SEO 101. It is the question someone will ask. Exactly, right. How to use Facebook Live. If you, that's somebody's going to search that somebody's going to search for that, right? Gord says exact title match is what you're after if you're starting out, especially if you don't have channel authority. That's exactly right.
So you want your title to match exactly what they're searching for.
Exactly.
And you want that to be the first line of text in your description.
Because that comes up, that optimizes as well. And it should be your first tag, I think.
Your first tag. Now, does it matter in what order you put your tags in?
Say again?
Does it matter which is your first tag on the video and your last tag?
That's a good question. I don't think so, but I've always found that when I put my title keyword phrase as the first tag, I just feel better. And I think the algorithm picks that up. Because think about it. Think about that trifecta. Title, description, keyword tag, right? So title, how to use LinkedIn video. First line of description, how to use LinkedIn video. First keyword tag or tag phrase, how to use LinkedIn video. You got that trifecta, and it sends a message to the algorithm. Hey, okay, if somebody searches for that, this guy's got a lot of relevancy, right? With their keywords and phrases. I'm sending them to that page. That's going to come up first.
Now, I also have heard that there's something about keeping some keywords, those keyword phrases, similar across a bunch of videos so that your videos are recommended when somebody finishes watching another one of your videos.
Aha. So this is about really, really targeting down. That's what that's called. So if you have a channel where you're teaching people how to live stream, right? And you have a predominant amount of videos on your channel are about that. And then the next week you come out with a video of you at the zoo petting pandas, right? It's just like anything else, right? If you're watching, if you're watching a channel on TV, right, and you're used to the programming on that channel, you're used to sitcoms, right, or you're used to whatever documentaries, and all of a sudden there's this, Professor Nez Bozo the Clown show shows up out of nowhere. You're going to change. You're going to be a little bit like, well, this isn't what I expected. I don't know if I want to watch this anymore. This isn't the channel.
Right.
So it's the same thing. So what that's all about, and Gord can speak to this. It sounds like Curtis knows what he's talking about. Hey, Curtis, good to see you. The phrase mentioned 5 times throughout the copy will be better rank. Okay, interesting. Yeah. I have to go. Time for dinner. Good to see you, Melissa. Thank you so much.
Hey, thanks, Melissa. See you next week.
Yeah. The more interaction on a live stream will increase ranking. Absolutely, Curtis. Very good call. So Ross, it's important to, and I think this is literally just like communications 101, right?
Right.
Be clear with your purpose, identify who your audience is, and communicate with them with as much specificity as possible, right?
So you repeat that. So I think Gord was saying you repeat that phrase that is your title and your first line. You repeat it like 4 more times throughout the description.
No.
Okay. I was going to say.
No, what Curtis was saying.
Curtis, I'm sorry.
The phrase mentioned 5 times throughout the copy will better rank it. So so Curtis is talking about how in the description, you sort of like, it's almost like a little manipulation, but not really. So you'd say how to use LinkedIn video, right? And then you'd say 5 easy tips, how to use LinkedIn video as your second line of description, right? Or you'd say, if you're new to LinkedIn, this is how you use LinkedIn video. You're repeating that phrase. I don't actually do that. I don't actually do that, but I know a lot of people who do.
On NEZNATION, Professor Nez addressed how to use LinkedIn video.
Yeah, exactly.
In a conversation with Ross Brand, blah, 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 blah,
Exactly. So you'd somehow find a way.
And in that conversation on how to use.
Exactly. That's exactly right. That's exactly it. And a lot of people, and I think Gord makes a great point. Including tags for cross-referencing is a great strategy to help you be found in suggested videos. For example, put Ross Brand in the description and tagging all videos. Yeah. So you want to put Ross Brand or Livestream Universe like I do. I put NEZNATION. I put NEZNATION Live, and I put Professor Nez.
Do you put it in the title too, or no?
No. I put them in all the tags, though, of all my videos. So it's sort of like your branding tag, right? And that gets you in those suggested videos, as Gord suggested. Jay Garrett. Yeah, that's right, Jay. Does that come as a surprise, Jay? Curtis says, view page source on YouTube. You will notice that the tags will be keywords. Speak the phrase, voices transcribed in the meta of the CC. Bingo. Curtis, you're dropping some bombs. Very interesting. Curtis maybe knows more about this than I do. It sounds like
voices. Okay, I'm just trying to figure out. Voice is transcribed in the meta of the CC.
So I'm thinking that what he's talking about is in the subtitles or the fact that you say the keyword phrase in your video, the algorithm picks up on that.
Right. Okay.
Melissa says, you're giving a lot of value. I'd be missing if I actually left. Yeah. I mean, this is stuff that, I have been closed captioned. Yes.
Thank you, Barb. Now I got it. Now I got it. I'm sorry.
What CC was? Did you?
Yeah, I didn't put that together for a second.
No, yeah, closed caption. Sorry.
Right. So that's how they tell if your video is actually what you say it's about. So you don't actually do a video of yourself walking down the street, but you get 1 million views because you say it's like how to meet the Kardashians or something like that.
It's called clickbait, right? It's clickbait. So they know that.
I noticed that a lot of people who are pretty significant media personalities still do clickbait stuff, and they'll go like, watch what Speaker X said to this hot girl when she asked a question or whatever. And then the video is, basically them giving a speech at a university or answering a question about, tax policy or something. And I'm thinking, really? Is that how you want to be known?
Yeah.
Because it's like respect is just like
down the drain. Yeah. I mean, I can't imagine what, these people who get millions of views on their channel, and they're not Kim Kardashian, but they're just YouTube stars, right? I mean, they're still stars in their own right. They're still somewhat celebrities. I think the pressure to constantly maintain that, it's got to be pretty overwhelming. It's got to be pretty, especially if you're a young person, and it's like that kind of, you get used to that kind of attention. I wouldn't put it past anybody to find really, nefarious ways to, kind of lure people in. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Melissa says, I know this stuff, but it is always good to hear it again. And from people who know what they are doing, it is validating. Thank you, Melissa, for falling for my facade. No, I'm kidding. I don't know anything. I'll be the first person to admit it. I don't know anything. So Ross, you mentioned that, you're really looking forward to this conference. You're really looking for. So by the way, did you think that any of this stuff that I talked about made sense, Ross?
I think it's great stuff. I mean, I think that this is stuff that anybody who wants to build up their channel should think about doing.
Yeah.
And it's all getting in the mindset of search engine but that isn't enough. It's actually typing those words into the search bar and seeing what comes up, and then making adjustments from there. That seems like that's the key step, right? And then including those words in your title, including them in the body, and including them in the tag. Did I sum that up accurately?
Yes, you did. But okay. I would add one more thing that's absolutely prescient.
Tell me what's prescient, and I'll listen.
So here's one thing that I would add. You need to do a lot of research on specific keyword phrases. And by research, I mean finding out. Hey, Jenny, is that Coach Jenny?
That is Coach Jenny.
Jenny's in the house. Hey, Coach Jenny. I've never met you, but Ross says you're terrific. And I did listen to your interview with Todd.live, and I want to meet you, Coach Jenny. We need to meet. We need to talk. We're going to all go out to dinner. Gord's buying. Hey, Gord, get your checkbook out. Yes, Gord actually makes up a good point. Gord actually posts a good point. People take for granted that it takes quite an effort to execute the SEO. I mean, I'm in awe. I really am, Ross, at the power of SEO. I really love SEO. I love ranking. I love understanding how the system works, how the algorithm works. And really, what's the means justifies the end. The end is that your videos get, a lot of hits. They get a lot of views. And Gord's right. That's only one aspect of it. You got to make some serious, jam-packed, knock them in the chest content, I think, or else it doesn't matter how much. It's all tactics and strategies, right? If
the best SEO is still good content, right? That's always been true with blogging. That there's no better SEO than good content.
There's no better. That's why I like content marketing. I think content marketing is the absolute tour de force of any marketing out there, because to me, it's just the most human. It's the most real. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, I want to ask you a question as far as live streaming goes, because uh, obviously that's, we're both very passionate about that. Do you live stream to YouTube?
So that's a great question.
And by the
So
way, I'm just going to take over and play the role of interviewer because I
you
like
might as
that
well.
better. So, Professor Nez, welcome. Professor, welcome to NEZNATION. I'm Ross Brand. I'm your host today. And joining us to talk all about YouTube is the great Professor Nez. Welcome to your own show, Professor. How are you?
Hi, I'm Professor Nez. I'll be here in about 20 minutes.
Yeah. So tell us about live streaming in YouTube. Is that something that you're doing?
I love ladies and gentlemen, don't you just love does everybody feel the way I do now, that they just want to tackle Ross Brand, and just in a lovable way, not in a violent way? Just I can't wait to give you a big fat bear hug, Ross. I absolutely love Ross Brand. Isn't he the best, Coach Jenny Barb? Yes. So I actually like live streaming on YouTube with my mobile app, but I have not found a decent third-party software. The desktop version of live streaming, the quality is absolute crap. I even going through this software, Zoom, when I live stream to YouTube, and I know Gord's experienced this too. It's Melissa. Melissa's like, I do. I know the feeling. But here's the thing. Like, I love going live on YouTube mobile. I think it's fantastic. I think that I am dying to get to the 1,000, so I mean, I'm dying to grow my channel, period. But I think it's really cool. I've been seeing Nick and other people who've been getting the super chat, and it's so amazing to see the appreciation for creators when you give them the opportunity to show their appreciation, which is why I am flummoxed with Facebook. I just don't. There's another big word. Sorry, Ross. But
I forgot what you were saying because I was focused on flummoxed. Please spell flummoxed.
I'll define flummoxed.
Would you like me to use it in the sentence first?
Yes. Flummoxed is when a giant professor tackles you without any reason. Gord says, although I don't have the absolute best retention, many of my tutorial videos are highly ranked. The lesson here is that you are in a competition, and if you can win the SEO game with good content, you're in good shape. Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Very, very, very well said. The reason I don't want to make this sound like it's all about monetizing, but I think that people, your audiences care about you, and your audiences are there to support you, especially if you are a creator yourself. A lot of the people in the comments right now are creators themselves. They know the thankless job it is to create even a live stream, even though live stream is actually easier than actually creating a pre-recorded video, which takes a lot of time, effort, editing, splicing, the whole deal, and distributing, right? You're your own pretty much factory in a sense,
right.
Which I love every minute of that too. I love even the process and the sweat and the tears. I really love it. And I think that's why people make fun of me. Like, dude, you're like producing crap every single day. Like every single day I see a Nez video because I love it, guys. That's really the only reason. I mean, I absolutely love it.
Coach Jenny says, no doubt, editing is so 2015.
Live stream. That sounds like a live streamer. That sounds like a live streamer. I love it. That's perfect. Yeah. So what the hell was your question again, Ross? I forgot.
I have no idea.
Oh yeah, go.
It's your show. What am I, the interviewer?
Yeah, you kind of took over. All
right, so let's bring it back now to YouTube and live streaming. Do you live stream on YouTube? You said you like going live stream from mobile, but not so much from desktop because the tools that you have available to you through YouTube you don't like, which is like kind of the old Google Hangouts setup, right?
And I know that Todd goes live on YouTube. Oh, actually, Todd goes live everywhere.
But he does it through Wirecast. Yeah.
Now, how about you, Ross? Do you go live on YouTube at all?
I've only done it a couple times. And what I'm wondering is for somebody who's thinking about putting more of a focus on YouTube, right? I've been using YouTube more like a portfolio. Like if you want to take a look for what I do, you can go check out YouTube. And it looks nice when you embed it in a blog post. But my focus is Facebook because that's just where my community is, and that's where people know that I'm going to be live and all that. but I'd like to start doing more on YouTube. And I'm wondering whether going live on YouTube or whether doing recorded videos on YouTube would be the faster way to get some traction on my channel as far as, people watching and commenting and, building it up more.
Well, I think it's the same premise as I think whenever I do a lot of, pre sort of marketing, if you will, and pre sort of, previewing. I don't even know what the hell I'm saying. But anyway, when you set up your show, right, when you get people, you try to garner interest and you try to go ahead of time and tell people when you're going live. YouTube has a feature that's really seamless and really cool where you can alert your subscribers. Nick does a great job of this. I haven't really tapped into that yet because I've been primarily going live on Twitter and Facebook. Especially just because the desktop version is more seamless for me, or at least it just works for me. And I just kind of started a lot of my shows on Facebook, but I think there's a reason why, Ross, and I think that you're going to get a lot of this at Vid Summit, actually. There's a reason why YouTube has invested a lot of time and energy into live streaming. And I think that's the reason why you're seeing what used to be the most uptight network on the planet, LinkedIn, is now trying to become more a part of the conversation too. I honestly think, Ross, in all my heart, I think live streaming is coming to LinkedIn very soon. I'd be shocked.
That is going to be fun because some people are going to put stuff on LinkedIn that don't have any business on Facebook or YouTube, but certainly shouldn't go on LinkedIn. And it's going to be the end of careers. I'm surprised it hasn't already happened with LinkedIn video, recorded video, but apparently people are a little more careful with that, and a lot of people haven't yet discovered that that's an option yet. But it's also, let me just say one thing. Sure. It's also a tremendous opportunity for people who have the editing valve where they can make sure that what comes out is professional. For those who have something to say and are knowledgeable and passionate about what they do, look out. I mean, there's no more like I do this on Facebook or YouTube and hopefully they come back to my website or, click through. I mean, YouTube's where business goes down. People will be sending you messages if you're good at what you do on LinkedIn Live. Wow. I mean, you're halfway there already. I mean, but I don't know whether they're going to roll that out to everybody or whether it's just going to be for some influencers or what. Like, what do you think? Do you think it's coming for everybody?
Well, it was the same thing with native video. I was itching, scratchy. I was flustered every day because I couldn't wait to get native video on LinkedIn. I couldn't wait, but it was a slow rollout. And you're right. All the influencers got it first. All the big dogs got it first. And then they finally released it to us small namby-pambies, after a huge, long, arduous wait, right? I think it's going to probably be the same thing. I actually have been, spending a lot more time on LinkedIn and YouTube in the past 2 or 3, 4 months than I have on Facebook. And I never thought that would really, Facebook's already, I've been on Facebook since 2007. It's always been my primary hub, for my social activities.
Right.
But man, I'm telling you, man, I got to say, I love me some tubes of the U, and I love me some LinkedIn. I'm getting a lot of just not only for my business, right, for my consulting business, but just for like real networking and real communications and real just engagement. And not to say I love my Facebook peeps. I love them, but I've just been, you got to go where that natural inclination takes you. I believe in that really strongly. And YouTube has been, I love YouTube.
I think with LinkedIn, I mean, they found a way, and it was happening. I felt it was happening even before they rolled out video to anybody, but it hasn't been, it wasn't happening for long before then, but they found a way to breathe life into what was really a dead platform. I mean, when I say dead, I don't mean that it wasn't being used or anything, but it was a static platform. It was, throw your resume up into a LinkedIn profile and walk away. And
that was a portfolio. You said portfolio earlier. That was kind of how I used LinkedIn 5, 6, 7 years ago.
But now it's becoming a social network again. And what's interesting is the one thing that was actually social about LinkedIn to some extent, right, were groups, and then groups became so spammy on LinkedIn and nobody was paying attention.
Right.
And now groups, really, Facebook took over for groups for the types of industries where people would be hanging out more on Facebook.
Yeah,
right?
I'm more involved in the groups.
I don't know that the insurance industry or bankers or whatever are like discussing their work, you know, in Facebook groups. But for social media and artists and creative people and video people, that's all gone over to Facebook.
Yep.
But meanwhile, LinkedIn kind of feels almost like Twitter did 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, that's a good call.
I've totally changed my approach to LinkedIn. Listen, I was always pretty easy. Like if somebody went to the same school or worked in the same industry and didn't have a totally absurd profile, I'd probably accept them. But, you know, there was still, now it's sort of like if anybody looks legit, it's like, sure, I'll connect with you. What the heck? You know, I share my show on Twitter because I know there's I'm connected to a lot of people on Twitter. Why not share it to more people on LinkedIn by connecting to more people? I'm not using it to find a job or something like that. Like, you know, some people are using it to recruit or anything like that. So why not treat it like another social network? It's a professional social network. You're going to have a different context and a different approach to it than you would Facebook or even Twitter. But why not use some of those principles? Who says that LinkedIn should only be for people that you've actually met in person or what, you know, had a conversation with? I think having a strong LinkedIn network, and when I say strong, I just mean big, right? Like having a lot of people that you can reach with your content on LinkedIn. I'm just approaching it the same way I approach Twitter, right? Like almost anybody who's reasonable, I'll follow them back. I'll check out their stuff.
Yeah.
I don't block somebody from following me because I don't know them. Only if they're ridiculous.
Yeah.
And like Coach Jenny says, you know, LinkedIn has no political junk, no pics of kids or cats. I mean, it's like, you know, and I'm seeing people who are posting on LinkedIn and starting real conversations. And I'm seeing those conversations get far more engagement than when somebody posts a question on Twitter or even sometimes on Facebook. So
have you seen my latest video view counts on LinkedIn?
No, you know I don't watch your stuff.
Look who I'm talking to. It's like talking to a mannequin.
Watch your stuff.
So
don't put me on the spot for everybody.
We've never
Even if I did watch your stuff, I wouldn't admit it.
You know, there's a rumor going around, Ross, that you actually check out Professor Nez's crap. Tell me it ain't true, Ross.
Well, now that you used prescient.
Yes. Don't make me use it again.
I gotta look in deeper.
I've been getting.
What was the other SCT word you used?
SCT. Prescient. Oh, flummoxed.
Flummoxed.
Yeah. Look up flummoxed. Barb will look it up for us. Barb, look up flummoxed, will you? But here's the thing.
That's right, Coach Jenny. I don't even watch my own content.
Yeah, we don't even watch our own content. And Coach Jenny. Yeah, we need to talk about Tubes to the U because you need to get on there ASAP. And yes, I think with your personality, a little that I've seen, you know, and I want to see more. I want to watch more. I mean, I think you're perfect for YouTube. Gord says, so Professor Nez, have you said organic reach has faded in FB? What is your experience, Ross? What organic reach? There is no organic reach on Facebook. But before you answer that, Ross, just let me say this. LinkedIn video, everybody watching right now, if you're a creator, I've been telling Gord to do this, and I'm going to help Gord with his LinkedIn profile. You guys need to get on LinkedIn ASAP. I have been, one of my videos in the past 2 weeks just passed the 10,000 view mark on LinkedIn. It's all organic. So to answer your question, yes. Thank you, Barb. I knew it. To answer your question, see, I used it correctly. If you go watch the replay, I use the word. I use flummoxed all the time. I love that word. So to answer your question, Gord, there's zero organic reach on FB, I think. And look at what you can get on other platforms. And if you do the SEO right on YouTube, Coach Jenny, Barb, Curtis will back me up on this. Tim Longwell, everybody watching, Gord. Boy, I think I'm spending a lot more time on YouTube and LinkedIn and Instagram, folks. That's just me. I don't know.
Well, the other thing though is you got to consider that you do get reach, organic reach from shares and comments and things like that on Facebook.
Right.
So,
right.
for instance, like I think I have about 1,300 maybe followers on my Facebook page.
Okay.
But those posts get probably double the reach. At least the videos do, right? Than anything. I mean, I have about 12,000 followers on Twitter, but the Facebook page with about under a tenth or the 12th of what I gets more because people share my stuff that I post on Facebook, share my videos and stuff. Whereas, I post a tweet, I get a retweet or two or whatever. I mean, Twitter people aren't really, and then you get no click. I don't get many click throughs. I'm just being honest. Like I like Twitter, but other than maybe getting people to show up and watch shows, I don't really get a lot of value out of Twitter unless you participate in a Twitter chat and then there's a conversation going on and then you connect with new people and share ideas. But in terms of like the everyday of Twitter, no, I mean, I think a much smaller Facebook page or Facebook group, even 1,000 members, even 500 members or 200 members, if you're active in it and you're putting out good content, people will share that stuff and people will comment on it. And you're reaching a lot of people in a more substantive way, I think.
Yeah. And actually, I think we've talked about this before, Ross, and maybe not on air, but we've talked about how one of the most underutilized tools on Twitter is video. I mean, and I'm not talking about Periscope, just actually, producing a video and hashtagging it up a little bit.
The Twitter reply, right?
Yeah, I think it's great. I mean, I even post videos though. I'll post, I'll cut up videos or streams that I've done into 1-minute segments on my editing software, and I'll get my schedule going. This is a little transparent here, but this is how I do it sometimes is I'll take a live stream that, I know probably people won't watch, just like this one, they won't watch past the first 2 minutes. So I'll cut it up. So I'll cut it up into 7 to 20 1-minute, 2-minute clips. And then I'll share the S out of that. Right. And just, sometimes I'll post because there's a lot of valuable tidbits that people just don't have the attention span. It's not necessarily that the content isn't as riveting. They just don't have everybody and their mother has ADHD now.
So how many more hours do we have to keep doing this so you can get a 2-minute clip from it?
We're almost there.
Did I say something good yet?
As soon as it's 4 a.m. in Saigon, we'll stop. No.
So, you'll come through 8 hours of video. This seems like it's the best 2-minute clip. Is this okay with everybody?
It's perfect.
You get the whole team, the whole NEZNATION team around. Everybody submit your favorite clip from 8 hours of live streaming. All right, this is the one we're going to go with.
This is the one
for LinkedIn. We'll put the other one on Twitter.
Actually, Jenny asked a really good question. What sorts of content do you recommend creating on LinkedIn? I mean, it's I think anything that represents what your authority is, right? So if I'm Ross and, my authority is live streaming, well, then, I would post a lot of videos about my expertise, about my field, about my background, maybe some tips. Here's what you can do if you want to be a better live streamer, or here's some tools you can use, or here's a kind of a tripod that you could use, or, just really anything that really revolves around what your kind of lane is and what your space is, and just communicate that, right? And isn't that what we do in live streaming? Live streaming is maybe the long form version of that. But the cool thing about LinkedIn being such a business-oriented platform, I call it Facebook with a tie. You got to, I think you have to up your level of professionalism a little bit. I think, I know there's a lot of people who are doing kind of YouTube-y stuff on LinkedIn now. I don't know how that's going to pan out. It may not. I don't know. I do think that LinkedIn is trying to become more youth-oriented because, let's face it, the youth own the world, whether we like it or not, us old fogies. It's all about the youth. But hey, I think a great place to start is to introduce yourself, maybe even, talk a little bit about what you do, why you do it, and why that is something that you're interested in and what kind of value you bring. I think just a little kind of I've been starting off doing that, and I've been doing some kind of short little tutorials on confidence and short little tutorials on, you know, how to, you know, position yourself in your resume, just things that I do with my consulting business and what I like to talk about, even live streaming too. Yeah, how to and educational content. Very good, Curtis. I think it's more people accepting the ADHD label than more in existence. I don't know, Barb. I think living in this device-dependent culture, I think everybody and their mother has ADHD. I think even if you like content, think about this. When you're going through your scroll, when you're scrolling through your feed, even if you like something, forget the stuff that you don't like. It doesn't even last a nanosecond. Even if you like something, how fast do you scroll through that? Probably a couple of seconds, right?
Well, that's what I'm talking about. Like, so much of the content that people share on Twitter requires a click through to read, right?
Right.
And so people are liking it, and they're sometimes retweeting it because they like you, because it sounds good, because they have a good intention to come back and read it later. But they're not actually clicking through to read the article. They're just, okay, interesting headline, like, keep going here.
That's
interesting.
Just keep going.
And it's why like I think Medium does it, but some bloggers do this, and some WordPress themes actually have this, where it tells you something's like this is a 2-minute read, because like
Medium does that.
If I'm gonna be reading something for, you know, if I'm going to make a commitment to read this article, I want to know that it's not going to take 3 minutes, because, you know, clearly there's more cat videos in my Instagram, and I got to see if anybody liked, you know, that post I put up earlier.
Yeah, exactly. God forbid it goes over 2.5 minutes.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this is the psychology of the culture, though, isn't it, Ross? I mean,
yeah.
I tell, you know, my students and my clients the same thing, not only in your writing, but I think everything is going video, video, video. My heart bleeds for video, especially live streaming, which is why I think Vid Summit, if you want to up your YouTube game, if you want to up your video creation game and really get more views and get more people to really kind of engage with your content, I think this is the reason why Ross is traveling from New Jersey, right? Besides to see and get tackled by Professor Nez.
Yes, that clearly is point number one. Number two is whatever value I get from Vid Summit. But number one, I'm going all the way out there just to see Professor Nez.
Boy, you couldn't even sell it, could you, Ross?
I couldn't. I can't even. If you can't sell it to yourself, you can't sell it to anyone else.
You can't sell it, yeah. Gord says, hey, William Slace Jr., good to see you, William. I love micro content for social video. I believe you can get a lot done in under 15 seconds.
That's right.
Oh, yeah, Jenny says, and me, right? Of course.
Oh, yeah, I'm definitely going for Coach Jenny. So I made sure Coach Jenny was going. I mean, I can't go to a conference and not see Coach Jenny.
Yeah, I want to meet you. Jenny, are you going to Vid Summit? Is she going to be there?
Shh, Jenny, don't tell him.
Don't tell him. Yeah, you don't want to tell me that.
Don't let him know.
Curtis says all local businesses will begin to start applying video. My generation does research, reviews, videos, social before they make a buying decision. Absolutely. And Curtis, I'm assuming your generation is Gen Y, millennial. Very good point. Hey, here's case in point. My consulting services, right? I've actually had clients refuse my proposal, which is on paper, a 2-dimensional context. I send them a video from my YouTube playlist that specifically states who I am, what I do, and why you should contract my services. I've turned people from a no to a yes, just like that, using video. I said this on Ross Brand's visit to Nick and Owen's podcast. I said this. I have gained more clients, using video than I think any other tool out there that's available to me, even email marketing. Using video has been just an absolute breath of fresh air. And because I am not a tech dude, I'm an absolute bozo when it comes to tech stuff, all that's been taken care of with the modern technology. So you can just focus on creating. How cool is that? But there still is an art and science to it. And I think Ross would agree with this, and most of you watching. I think there's still some stuff. You need to be a constant learner. If you think you know everything there is, which is why I never want to call myself an expert, even though I've been a writing professor for 30 years. I already made a fool out of myself live on camera with the information.
That's why I don't call you an expert either.
Okay, good.
But you're a heck of a nice guy. And so if you want me to.
I never said I was a good writing professor. I just said I was one. So here's the thing.
Guy's too humble.
I always want to be an eternal student. And even though I feel I've been I come from a film background as a young man, as a young boy.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I started off as a filmmaker at Cal State Long Beach when I was 19, 20 with my friends. We made films all the time on those, those high 8s, right? And those VCR, JVCs and those video, remember when beta was a thing, Ross?
I'm too young to know about that stuff.
So video has always been in my blood, but guess what? The one thing—
Were you listening to music on your 8-track while you were doing?
Yeah. I had my polyester suit. I had my high heels, my makeup. Oh, wait, that's right now.
You put a record on a record player.
Yeah, I think if you're an eternal student—
It wasn't even a turntable yet.
It's not even a turntable. Yeah, it was a pancake.
Yeah, you open it up. You have the speaker there.
If you're not an eternal student, you're going to lose 24/7, I think. I think you have to be an eternal student. I think one of the reasons why, besides my goofy personality, and I do love to have fun more than anybody on the planet, because my students love me, is not only do they get, I think, really valuable information about writing, but they actually get it in a way that's not so sticky, not so uptight. Does that make sense, you guys? I also respect them as human beings. I don't treat them as below me. I'm the writing professor, you're the student. I don't do that, right? You ask any of my students— I have student testimonials on my YouTube channel, by the way. Go subscribe. Small plug. But here's the thing, is you ask any of my students, and I guarantee you, they may not all like me, but I guarantee you they'll all say, he's always treated us as equals. I guarantee they'll say that. And the only reason I say that is not to be narcissistic, but I feel that the only way I've been able to become better at my craft is by being an eternal student. So hence, Vid Summit, even though there's, maybe some of you might be thinking, I know all there is about YouTube, I know all there is about video creation. I think that's the wrong mindset to have, Ross. Would you agree? What is the purpose for going to Vid Summit?
So there's 3 purposes. One is, of course, to meet Professor Nez.
Hello.
Throw him a bone, every once in a while.
I'll take it.
Right. But really, in addition to networking and meeting great people and all that kind of stuff, it really is to learn. There are people there who just are flat out killing it on YouTube. And there's going to be some live streaming stuff. And if I'm available, I'll go check that out. But really, I'm going for stuff where I know that I don't have the knowledge in comparison to live stream. Like, I'm very comfortable with what I'm doing with live streaming, right?
Yes.
When it comes to YouTube and some of the things we talk about, I know that there's people who can run circles around me. Why not hang out in an environment where I'm around people? Like, you only learn from people who know more than you, right? I mean, for the most part. Yes, you can learn from people who don't know as much as you if they have a niche or an area where they're really strong. But I'm going there to soak up all I can, and then I'm going to do some interviews and things as well while I'm there. But really, it's just that this conference is all about learning, and it's all about people sharing knowledge, not so much about being seen and being a fan and all that kind of stuff. And it's certainly not about pushing products and services and stuff like that. Right. It's not VidCon.
Yeah, it's not VidCon.
It's not one of the fly-by-night conferences where, somebody does a 20-minute pitch for their product and then they tell you 3 points you could use if you're turning on your computer.
Right.
Right. And so hopefully most people are updating their material, right? And they're going to talk about what's current and what they're doing and what's got them to where they are. Not just giving the same speech that they gave in 2013 and 2012 and 2011 at some conference, right? They're not playing the greatest hits. They know that this is an audience that's there to really soak up the knowledge on things like YouTube and channel growth and working with brands. And I can't wait. I mean, I'm just fired up about this. And like I say, I'm tend to be sort of cynical about events and things like it. Yeah. They're never what they're advertised to be. It seems like this conference may well be what it's advertised to be, and judging from what I've heard from some people who are also not easily swayed, to these things, it's actually probably more than what it's advertised to be. So that's why I'm coming.
Are you doing any live streaming there, Ross? Like,
Yeah, I am. I'm going to do some interviews. I'm actually going to be using a live view solo unit so that I can get on with cell connection from multiple cell lines so that I can have a strong live stream and it won't drop because hotel Wi-Fi and connections and stuff aren't.
I heard you talk about this on another show. Do you want to just do a brief 1-minute kind of review or overview of that or what that technology is? Because it sounds maybe some of our viewers might like it. Or do you want to just
Sure. No. I'll tell you real quick. It's an encoder. Hang on 1 second.
Oh, cool. You got it right there. Melissa says
this little bad boy here, right?
Okay.
So this thing here lets you go live to Facebook or live to YouTube without a computer or a phone. All I need is to do is attach a camera with an HDMI connection so I can take
a webcam or something?
I could take like a camcorder, right? I have a little mini camcorder. I plug that in with an HDMI and I'm good to go.
Oh, it has to be HDMI. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I have 2 cards that I plug in. One's a Verizon and one's an AT&T, and I can add in the Wi-Fi that the hotel has or whatever.
Oh, that's cool.
And so even if one of those drops or is weak or the signal is lost for a second, it bonds all of those together so I stay connected.
Oh, that's really cool.
And this is what Mario Armstrong used. They used a bigger one, like a one made for broadcast and television and stuff like that. In fact, you're even seeing like in some of the hurricane coverage and stuff.
Yeah.
Because they can't bring a big truck out there and stuff like that to certain places. They're using units like this to go out, and there's also like larger backpack units. But they're choosing rather than the traditional way, go through the truck, beam it up to the satellite, whatever, but broadcast television for news events, for sports and things like that are able to broadcast over cellular using live use equipment. And in fact,
that's cool.
Their COO and co-founder is the one who invented the cellular bonding technology. So
wow.
So yeah, so I'm looking forward to doing a bunch of interviews. I'm going to interview somebody from LiveU. I'm going to interview Daryl Eves, who's the founder of the conference and the one organizing it. I'm going to talk to Nick from Switcher Studio.
Cool.
And maybe even Professor Nez.
Hello.
Coach Jenny.
Hello. I don't know. I've got a lot of media bookings that day. I'll try to fit you in, Ross.
Gary Vaynerchuk wanted to talk to me, but I said, listen, I'm busy. I can't do another one with you.
No. Tell the audience the truth.
I said no selfies either. I mean, it's enough.
No, tell the audience the truth. You said, actually, I'm booked with Professor Nez. Sorry, Gary.
Yes, that's it. I've got Professor Nez at 1. And then I know you got to leave at 1:30, so no, I can't. I'm not cutting Professor Nez short.
No way. Well,
so just hustle on out of here, Gary.
Yeah. You go hustle and grind. That's the hustle highway right there. I just want to say, Ross, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, my friend. As always, on behalf of Nez Nation and myself, I just think that you're such a cool dude and such a gentleman, such a nice man, always offering your time and your wisdom. I think with your personality, I think with your professionalism and your meticulousness in this space, I am your #1 champion, your #1 fan. And I
thank you.
Anything you ever need from Professor Nez, I mean this with all sincerity, you got it, brother. Anything you ever need from me. I am such a fan of yours. It means the absolute world to me that you're on my show. And actually, Ross is one of the very few guests, Nez Nation. I think there's only been one other guest who's done a repeat visit on Nez Nation Live, and I can't think of a better person.
Well, thank you.
So,
you're so kind, and I got to tell you that I do a lot of interviews, obviously, both as an interviewer and interviewee, and I don't think I ever laugh so much as when I'm on with you. I mean, we just have a great time, and I appreciate you being cool about my jokes and stuff like that. So
love it.
I a lot of times I'm sort of more serious about what I'm talking about with live streaming or whatever. But with you, I feel like we have a great time, and we still contribute, you know, some good discussion. And I mean, I love all the comments in the chat. I learned a lot from what everybody was sharing, and you know, I look forward to talking with you out there, and we continue together to learn more about different kinds of video and different uses of social video beyond what we're doing with live streaming.
Yeah, absolutely, my friend. And I just want to do a really quick thank you to Melissa, to Coach Jenny, to Patricia Murray, Melissa Reyes, to Curtis. Curtis, you've been awesome. Barb, as always, Barb is a regular Nez Nation visitor. And to Tim, to all, Gord, William, good to see you guys. Thank you guys so much for coming and joining Ross and I, who hopefully you've had a really good time. Hopefully you've gotten a little bit of context of, you know, YouTube video creation, live streaming, and this upcoming conference. I'm going to say it. I've said it once. I'll say it again. The real main reason, not only to learn from the great speakers and learn from the great conference, but I wouldn't be honest if I didn't say this. The real deep down belly of the earth reason is to go meet up with people like Ross and Todd and Nick and Owen. And
I feel so bad I don't have time in my schedule.
I was going to buy you lunch, you bozo.
That's all right. I prefer to eat alone.
Okay with Wendy's, right?
Oh, I'll eat alone. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. That's what I figured. I'd go all the way to LA and eat at Wendy's. I heard they don't have any other restaurants in LA. Nothing to see here. Go straight to Wendy's.
On a writing professor's budget, Wendy's is all I got, brother. Gord says, boom, looking forward to meeting all of you at the Vid Summit.
Oh, yeah, I can't wait. This is gonna be a great time.
It's gonna be a lot of fun, guys. Jay, good to see you. Thank you. And again, just in full, complete, transparent disclosure, this is not a sponsored or affiliated link that Ross posted up there. This is literally just something that he was, you know, blessed to get from Daryl Eves, the founder of the Vid Summit conference. And he's not getting any commission from this, right, Ross? You're not getting anything from that code.
The only thing I would get is if you didn't go to the conference because you couldn't make it, and you would buy the live stream or virtual package, that I would get some commission. I don't even know what it is. But
I think he gets a Wendy's chicken McNugget meal. I
get a thank you. But for the $200 off tickets, and I want everybody to go. I mean, we're gonna have such a great time out there, and we're gonna learn so much.
You're out there for all 3 days.
I don't get anything from that 200, but that's, you know, Darryl gave me that to use on my show last night, and feel free to use that if you'd like to go and you haven't gotten your ticket yet. $200 off. Just put my name when you're checking out. The code is Ross Brand, one word. And that's it. And there's a link there, livestreamuniverse.com/summit 2017, livestreamuniverse.com/summit 2017. And that'll take you right to the Vid Summit page, where you can look at the different ticket plans and options, and check out the agenda. There's so many great speakers there. It's really good.
I mean, there really is. And again, you know, I think Gary is a pretty big draw, Gary Vaynerchuk. Thank you, Jay. That's really sweet of you, Jay. I appreciate that comment. And, you know, I'm telling you guys right now, I am as giddy as a kid after the strategies that I've learned and applied to my YouTube channel. And I don't know anything about YouTube. So when you go,
well, you're doing great. I mean, you really ramped it up quickly.
I think it probably has more to do with what Gord was talking about, with consistent content rather than strategy, even though I have a little bit of strategy. But honestly, the people who really know what they're talking about and what I was alluding to are the people that are going to be at this conference. I want to meet all of you. I can't wait to meet Ross in person, but I want to meet all of you. There's so many talented people in this stream right now. Jay, Jenny, Melissa, Aaron. It looks like Aaron's in the house. Aaron's here. And you know, Curtis and Gord, and you know, a lot of great people in this stream. Tim Longwell. I would love to see all of you guys. So thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Nez Nation Live. Just a really quick reminder, we are a weekly live stream show. We go live every Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, bringing guests like Ross Brand. Well, nobody's really like Ross, but guests who come to share their story and hopefully inspire and motivate you to go do your thing. Ross, it's been
thanks so much for having me on, man. This was a blast.
Absolute treat. Nez Nation, on behalf of our guest Ross Brand, I'm Professor Nez. We'll see you guys next time. Have a wonderful weekend. Nez Nation Live, we are out. Later, y'all.